In a significant ruling, the Karnataka High Court has refused to drop the rape charges filed by a wife against her husband. The order said that a brutal act of sexual assault on a woman by her husband is rape. The petitioner had moved the court, citing the husband's exemption that is offered under Section 375 of the IPC. To this, the bench responded that, and I quote them here, a man is a man, an act is an act, and rape is rape. This order by the Karnataka High Court is a significant one, as it comes weeks after the Delhi High Court had recently reserved its order on a batch of petitions challenging the exemption of marital rape. Now, do you think this ruling will shape the debate on marital rape? To discuss more on this, I am now joined on the broadcast by Ms. Deepika Bhardwaj, who is an activist. Deepika, your first comments on this particular ruling that's coming out of the Karnataka High Court?
I think I see this as judicial activism, which is overstepping the boundary of legislature. The whole question of whether marital rape should be a crime or not, or the exception in 375 has to be removed or not, is already in front of the Delhi High Court. Right now, as the law stands, a husband cannot be tried under 376. And the question before Karnataka High Court was whether to quash this case or not. I think overstepping the boundaries in the zest of judicial activism, the judge has passed a very stringent order in so to say that yes, it is already a crime, even though the IPC provision does not say so, and the man must be tried. So I don't see how they have not treated the law as it is, and they want the husband to be tried. My only question is, will any high court try a woman for 498 of Indian Penal Code, no matter how much violent she has been with her husband, because the provision does not allow a woman to be prosecuted? The same Karnataka High Court refused to try a woman under Domestic Violence Act because the act does not allow a woman to be tried under the DV Act, or a wife to be tried under the DV Act. And this happened after the feminist protest.
Deepika, I understand what you're trying to get at over here, but here we are discussing this important issue of criminalization of marital rape. The Karnataka High Court has not explicitly struck down that entire provision that exempts, rape when it's done by the husband. However, they have ensured that the man here should be tried because this was a complaint that was filed by the wife against the husband, and the charges were clearly rape. And there are very significant, inputs that have come in out of the court. They have made sure and called this an age-old and regressive practice where the man cannot be considered the ruler of his wife. So these are the things that the court has also said.
No, I completely agree with you, Rekha. I have read the entire judgment. I have read all the submissions of the husband's counsel and the retorts by the wife's counsel. Now, in this case, this is an 11-year-long marriage. The parents of the husband were already discharged from the case. There is a lot of background to the case, and I must share with you that there was IPC 377 also filed against the husband. There is POCSO, which is assault against his own daughter, also filed. So there is a bunch of IPC sections that have been filed against the husband, and this whole petition came in front of the High Court because the husband said that, he cannot be tried under 376 because he has an exemption, and the court has said. Now, the whole point of marital rape, like I said in the beginning, the whole question, the whole idea is in front of the Delhi High Court. There have been submissions both for and against it. Now, when the judges or the people who are in favor of this 375 exception being removed, they say that a woman is not a chattel, a woman is not a property of the husband. All those arguments are absolutely sane, fair, logical in 21st century. But the fact is, Rekha, that right now, a woman, if she has been sexually abused by her husband, she has provisions under the law under which she can take recourse. For example, in this case itself, there is 377, which punishes the husband for sexual violation of his wife. The punishment is 10 years or more. So I don't see why just this 375 exception is being targeted again and again, especially in the light, Rekha, coming back to the cases that I, deal with on a daily basis. Let me take you through some, and these are in the last 1 month month or so, Delhi High Court, while acquitting a man in a rape case, said that there is increasing tendency of implicating all the family members under sexual acts. There's a man who was granted bail after 1 month. He was the brother of the husband. He spent 1 month in jail, and this woman had filed a rape case against him when all the cases or settlement negotiations had died down. And she wanted
but also, Deepika, that same Delhi High Court has also chided the Centre for dilly-dallying on this entire issue of criminalization of marital rape. So that has also happened, because since you mentioned Delhi High Court, I'd like to mention this particular point here. I hold your thought there. I'm also joined on the broadcast by Ms. Rekha Aggarwal, who's an advocate. Ms. Aggarwal, just your first thoughts on this judgment that's coming out of the Karnataka High Court. Like I was discussing with Deepika also, do you think this is going to actually open up that debate that is long started with this particular judgment that is still, in focus when it comes to the Delhi High Court? Now the Karnataka High Court has come out with a ruling. Do you think this is going to actually go ahead and augment this particular debate on criminalization of marital rape?
We have to take this entire judgment, in a very serious matter, in a very serious way, not in a very frivolous manner. It is all right to say that we should not be regressive and we should be progressive in our approach. But the rights of the accused also have to be seen. So on one hand, we have the rights of the complainant and we have the rights of the accused. Now, marital rape is something which happens inside the bedroom, right? It cannot happen in the open. Rape is no doubt rape. And it is high time that a woman's body was respected and she was not treated as a chattel, as the various high courts have been saying from time to time. But whether, the Section 375 Exception 2, should be decided in this manner or not, I think a lot of debate has to be done in this matter, because there'll be both sides of views. There are certain courts, certain countries all over the world where, marital rape has been recognized as a crime. It is taken in a very, very serious manner. But in our country, we are still, let me put it like that, we have a sort of a conservative approach to most issues which are concerning sex per se. And now when we're talking about marital rape, this is a totally hush-hush matter. Now, whether a wife, once she gets married, whether her husband has got a right on her body. Now, the husband has got no right either on the body or on the mind of his wife. She's an individual in her own right. But unfortunately, in our country, we have a very strong rural background also. Most of it is not that everybody is living in the metro cities, and I would say that 75% of the population and of the women who are living in the rural cities or who are coming from not very positive backgrounds, they suffer silently. The atrocities which are committed by the husband on the ground of under the garb of cohabitation. Now, cohabitation is a very, very important right that both parties enjoy in a married life, and that is what leads to, certain, the family gets extended only because of that. You have a cohabitation and you have progeny after that. But now, under the garb of cohabitation, can a husband simply, treat his wife in any manner whatsoever if the wife says, no, I'm not interested in having a physical relationship with you at the moment? It could be for various reasons. It could be that she is not comfortable with it, either physically or mentally, or because the husband has been treating her in such a shabby manner all the time during the married life, that it is only when they enter the bedroom that he suddenly decides to exercise his right of cohabitation. So, sex is not a taboo subject.
Deepika, I'd actually open the floor to both of you. Where goes the question of consent here? Because that is also an important aspect that has been underlined. Because, Deepika, you've made some very important points that there are other legal recourses that are available to the wife if she actually suffers sexual misconduct at the hands of the husband or his family for that matter. But this important aspect of consent has also been underlined today by the Karnataka High Court. What do you think about that?
Rekha ma'am quite rightly pointed out that there are many countries in the world who have criminalized this. But let me share some information which is extremely relevant because it gets missed out a lot of times when we talk about marital rape. One, They do not call it marital rape, they call it spousal rape. The reason for that is when they're talking about consent and will within a sexual relationship, they're not excluding husbands. The law in most of these countries, majority of these countries, is neutral. My first question is, if you are going to talk about consent within the four walls of a bedroom, will you treat consent equally when the husband does not want it and when the wife does not want it? It's a very tough question, Griha. Second thing is, we do have provisions which can take care of sexual abuse within the marriage. A wife can initiate several proceedings against the husband. Law like 377 and 498 does not exist in other countries. This provision is exclusively here in India, which takes care of sexual violence against a wife. There is Domestic Violence Act under which she can take protection. And if there is a separation, the law is very clear on this. If the woman has withdrawn her consent, now we're talking about consent. If the woman has withdrawn her consent, there is provision under the rape laws itself that a separated woman, and the separation does not mean necessarily by a decree. She's told that I am not any longer consenting to sexual relationship within this marriage. If the man still forces himself on his wife, he can be prosecuted for rape. Now, what we are asking for is a blanket removal of this exception of 375 Section 2. And my reservation against this is that there has been gross abuse of 498A, there has been gross abuse even of 376. Let me share a data fact with you. When this entire debate was happening, when Delhi High Court was hearing this on a daily basis, Haryana State Commission Chairperson, Vice Chairperson, Preeti Bhardwaj Dalal, went on record saying that for the last several months and years, they have seen a repeated pattern where the woman will allege unnatural sex against her husband. And in investigation, a lot of these complaints are found that that was not the fact of the matter. So not only are we completely discrediting a man's right to have conjugal relationship within a marriage, which a marriage basically gives that right to both husband and wife, we're also bringing a law which will put the husbands in fear that if there was everything with consent, what if, like 498A, after 5 years, the woman claims that everything was without consent? How will he prove his innocence? How will this husband prove that he did not rape his wife? And we are seeing after we have made
all right, Deepika and Ms. Rekha Aggarwal, thank you so much for joining me. It's a very, very important discussion that we are having on Mirror now.